In this video, I wanted to talk about workflow or an organization a little bit, and talk about ways for us to manage our After Effects files. So I've already started doing some animation. This is the previous file that I've been working on, and I was working quick and dirty, and it's kind of a mess. I wanted to talk about some things that we could do to clean things up. So if you recall, I have these these track mats, alpha mats on top of the logos that are being used. You can see that I haven't trimmed my footage. This is maybe my first suggestion to you, is trim your footage so that you can make sense of what's where. You can see I've left these long and I haven't really cut them, but I probably it'll be easier for me to visually understand things if I go ahead and clean them up. So one thing I might do is drag it like this, or I can also hit Option and the left bracket to show you again. Option, left bracket, and that will trim that layer. So this, at least this way, I'm starting to see visually that these things belong together. When this goes off the frame, maybe I want to trim these out. If you want to trim these edges, I'm going to select both in this case and do Option right bracket, and that will trim that edge. So I'm trying to just clean this up a little bit. In the case of this other logo, I'm going to go to the beginning of this footage by pressing I, and let me trim this again. Click on that layer, hit Option, left bracket, and I'll do that. Trim that out. Okay. And these layers down here, you can see this first layer is a white background, then there's a mask that appears. At a certain point, I don't need, let's say, this. If you look at this image here, I don't need this image to keep being present in the scene. I can just cut it once it gets to this point. So I'll trim it again, Option, right bracket. And again, I'm doing this so that it starts to become visually clear what I'm doing, and someone else who's looking at my work will understand maybe what's going on. That's really a big part of it as well. Okay, so I've got these layers trimmed. That was the first step. One other thing I can do if I want to organize things is I can change the color of these different layers. By default, certain layers have different layer colors attached to them. In this case, these layers come in as lavender. These shapes come in at this blue color. But maybe I want to, and this is personal preference, maybe you want to group things together, like these two, visually you want them to be connected, or maybe you want every track layer, track mat to have a certain color. That's up to you, but I'll go ahead and just start to color code this a little bit. I just want to show you how you can do it, and it's up to you how you decide to color code these. Maybe these are all green because they're images or something. I don't know. I'm just kind of making that up. All right, and again, if you want to see things collapse, I'm going to select all by doing Command A, and I'll hit U to collapse, and you can open up the keyframes by hitting U again. That's all I'm doing there. Okay, but hopefully you're seeing that now. Maybe this makes a little bit more sense to me. You might want to change the layer or the order of these layers. You can click and drag and pull them down. This is provided that you're not worried about overlapping images. Remember, layer order is important, but in this case they're not overlapping, but it might be easier for me to visually see the time happening like this. So you can click and drag those. I think you can also do Command left bracket, right bracket to move up and down layers if you need to do that. Those are some shortcuts. Okay, the next thing we're going to look at is look at my project over here. It's already kind of a mess. I should start labeling my comps and putting these things into folders. I can actually access folders here. So let's click on a folder. One thing that's nice about After Effects is that you can label things and they can be organized alphabetically, or you can also, if I increase the size of this window, you can see I can put comments, or I can change the color again. I'm gonna use a file naming structure that I've seen a lot, and maybe it will be helpful for you. It starts with the numbering system. We're going to start with 01. Oh, I should say, let me change the name by hitting enter into the folder. 01, and maybe I'll do an underscore, and I'll write main. This was going to be my main comps, all the main files that I'm working on, and you can see that After Effects already is like doing some ordering on this, some alphabetical order. We're going to use this this function to try to create a sequence of folders. So O2, maybe we'll have something like pre-comps, and you know, depending on where you're working or who you're working with, they might have a different naming structure, but something like this I think makes sense. And then maybe we'll use the number system again, 03, and we'll have assets, or you could have, I've seen people use footage in that case, but this is a good organizational structure for me to start with, and from here I can click and drag these and put these into folders. So these assets, these are the Luma mats, some video footage that I had. There you go. This is like an ink mat. Whoops. Just so you can see what this is. It's a little laggy. Okay, that's what that is. Your main comps, and you should label these comps too, right? This, I think, if I open this up, I think what this was playing with Luma mats. So I'm gonna hit enter and write maybe Luma mat demo. And yeah, this is one of the main comps that I'm working on. This is the masking demo, so I'll put that into main. And for assets, maybe I'll just put this folder inside of the assets folder. And so when I close these folders up, you'll see I have like a really succinct folder system, and hopefully it'll be easy for someone to grab my files and understand, like if they need to grab assets, they're all in here. If they're pre-comps or things that smaller compositions that we've done that we're reusing inside of other comps, you can find them in here, and main comps will be there. I also wanted to show another nice technique for doing versions. Let's say we have our masking demo here, and I want to do another version of this. Maybe I was asked to make the logo smaller or bigger. What I could do is make a copy of this, or duplicate. I'm going to do Command D, and you can see that it made a copy of it, and it added the number 2 here. One thing I'm gonna actually delete this. I want to maybe start again. Maybe I'll start by actually putting a number in here, masking demo 1, or maybe 01. And you know, it's up to you if you want to leave it like that, or some people like to put like an underscore or version. Okay, and when I make a duplicate of this now, it's gonna keep track of the last number that's on the end and add to it. So 01, 02, if I keep doing this, 03, 04, 05, this is a nice way for me to have many variations on something. Like you can see it's already ordered. Each of these is independent. So if I decide to do something like, maybe I just want to switch the order of these. I want this Fox TV logo to come first, and then I want this Simpsons logo to come first. So that's Fox, and then Simpsons. That's number 2. But if I go back to number 1, you can see that, hey, it kept it the way it originally was, the Simpsons, and then Fox. So this would be a nice way for me to do variations and have them labeled, and when you export them, they're going to have this file name, composition name attached to them. I think what I said was, yeah, what if I was asked to make these logos smaller? I just want to make sure that this goes off the screen. Okay, yeah, there you go. That's smaller. And I'll make this logo smaller as well. So in that way, I can make multiple versions and have them labeled and ordered in here, and it's a pretty nice situation. the next thing I'm going to talk about is saving down your files and creating a file that you can share with people. One thing that's really important to note is that any of these assets that I've included, they're linked to this After Effects file, but they're not packaged with it right now. So if I save this After Effects file and sent it to someone else, they wouldn't be able to use these assets because they would not be packaged with it. They wouldn't be included in the After Effects file. What you have to do is actually save out, like collect all your files and save a folder with all the assets and the After Effects file in it. If you're familiar with InDesign, it is like packaging an InDesign file. So let's talk about how we might go about doing that. There is a setting up here under File Dependencies called Collect Files. And what we'll do is click on this and create a folder with all the assets inside of it. So let's go ahead and do that. So you can see it wants to save this folder. I'm going to put it in the demo files folder. I'll call it masking folder, and it saved it out. It takes a little bit of time. Let's see what happened. This is the folder that was created, and you can see there was footage and all those files that I had in here. The Photoshop files and these videos are included, and there's this working After Effects file. So now I can take this whole folder and send it to someone, or if a client needs it and they want to archive it, they can grab that, and that's great. If I open this up, I would have all these different comps in there. I just want to show one other nice thing that's good to know. If you're working on variations, you might have a lot of different comps in here, but maybe you have a final version that has been okayed, and maybe it's that first version, and maybe the client has asked just for that file, and it'll be confusing to someone if you give them a file with all these comps in it. So one thing you could do to make a simplified version is just select the comp that you want to keep, and we'll go up to File, Dependencies, and we'll go to Reduce the Project. So this will actually delete elements that aren't being used used in this comp. And you can see that, yeah, it got rid of those videos that I had that weren't being used in the comp. It got rid of those extra versions that I didn't need. And from here, I could go ahead and go to Dependencies, Collect Files, and this would be maybe the final version that the client wanted. This is just a way for us to simplify and clean up our lives. It's great to have multiple versions when you're working, but at some point you have to clean it up. So that was the point of showing that. I hope that was helpful.